Untitled Chapter contained an important decision which articulated the following: the people shall govern. It is in this context that I would like us to always place our people at the center of all the policies and programs of government, for them to have relevance and be responsive to our people's needs and plight. Hence this program, People and Parks, with its main principle being conservation for the people, with the people.
You are all ambassadors of Peoples and Parks.
I want to say welcome to the province of KwaZulu-Natal. As we say in isiZulu, siyanimukela.
Sanibonani, sizoseka phuma noMageba, ngiyanamukela e-University of Zululand. Ngiyabonga.
People, why, man? Eh? We agreed to work together to manage this park, man.
We cannot, man.
And now, I do not understand why you are destroying what is fully benefiting us, man.
Hey,
Mama?
we just do not understand this whole setup.
Jana.
One day, the land is ours.
Yeah.
One day, we cannot go in. One day, we need a permit to enter.
The overall aim of the People and Parks program is to address issues at the interface between conservation and communities. In particular, the realization of tangible benefits by communities who were previously displaced, to pave way for the establishment of protected areas.
The establishment of early parks mirrored the apartheid policies which gained momentum at the same time. People who owned land were forcibly removed to make way for animals, and parks became elitist playgrounds for a minority, whilst the majority of the population was excluded.
Reserves were fenced off and communities lost their access to resources within the reserves. This resulted in our people, despite their history of conservation, being ostracized.
Displaced people are exposed to a variety of impoverished risks, and this stokes up animosity towards environmental or natural resource managers.
When we arrived on the scene with formal conservation, we changed the situation and we brought in management plans. Scientists became the clever people, and we ignored the indigenous knowledge that people had acquired over a number of years. And this is what we are trying to sort out now with People and Parks.
That is what we must deal with.
Our people cannot postpone their hunger, and it is incumbent upon us all to ensure we address these challenges.
We know that our people are troubled by poverty. So critical environmental sustainability, poverty alleviation, and food security are closely linked. We are gathered here to get our minds together. How can we prevent such problems?
Over the past 3 years, the Department of Environmental Affairs has been implementing the People and Parks program. This program is in response to the World Parks Congress Conference of Parties, which emphasized the need to consider communities as stakeholders in parks by specifically focusing on governance, participation, equity, and benefit sharing for communities.
These landmark events have shaped the progress of the People and Parks program in South Africa.
The conference is an opportunity to reflect, converse, and dialogue in relation to one another's intellectual and practice traditions.
We are also hoping that we would use these 3 days to celebrate and showcase the success stories for the future replication of projects and initiatives that are best practice models.
Over the next 3 days, we will, amongst others, see the launch of the National Co-Management Framework, which signals a bold step in addressing issues of co-management.
We are here then to share lessons that we've learned, as also an opportunity to address remaining challenges. We would hope then that we would also be able to acknowledge existing strategic partnerships. The University of Zululand as a key partner right now. We have Pick and Pay, we have the Lotteries Board, and we have many more other partners.
Education is the only key to make a person to understand his life. Our children will have no problems because they will know where they are coming from and where they are getting to.
It's a great privilege to address you on this occasion to celebrate the relaunch of the Kids in Parks program. It's an exciting program that seeks to sensitize young people living in the vicinity of parks to understand why it is important to conserve the surroundings of parks.
The sale of millions of the Pick and Pay green bags since our partnership started on the Kids in Park program has assisted this program to take more than 28,000 learners to national parks.
288 million has been allocated specifically for people and parks related projects. Government alone will not give us money to the satisfaction of our needs. They've got their own constraints.
Let's try to mobilize funding. You have heard from Eastern Cape, they said they got the EU funding. Ms. Mangaliso is doing the same. And all of us, we can do the same. There are many other agencies.
We need to resolve the challenges experienced today by studying the best practices in order to find effective ways to provide support.
Let's learn from those who are succeeding in your own province.
Selweni is the project for the neighboring community. We've got 10 traditional leaders that are leading the community around the park. So they decided that they need to have a facility inside the protected area. Then there were community around the HIP. They were looking for having a lodge inside in Folozi. That's how Selweni was born. We've got what we call a local board. The local board is representing the communities, the interests of the communities around the park. It has created a good relationship with the community. The community can see for themselves that they are benefiting. Now we are getting informed by the community in terms of coaching. It has also created that there's no us and them. They feel like they're part of KZN. Generating this revenue for their facility, looking after the revenue and reporting how much is in the pot.
It's about direct to them as a makosi, or maybe there are plans of bursaries, whatever for the communities.
So then we'll say to the owner visitor, this is what we generated for this financial year. Then they'll decide what they want to do. They look at the priorities around the community, which project is a priority. We are not going to decide for them, they are going to decide.
I now invite one of our international speakers, Mr. Ashish Kothari from the IUCN, all the way from India, to also share with you their practices around community conservation areas.
The theme of this conference is conservation for communities and with communities, but what I'd like to speak about is an additional point which I would very much urge that be added to the theme of the conference, which is conservation by communities. This is a relatively new theme in formal conservation circles, but it actually is the oldest form of conservation in the world. And it's something that we are increasingly recognizing. Countries like South Africa and India are increasingly recognizing the need to understand this phenomenon. The most important thing here, the message I'd like to bring out is that all these different management categories of protected areas, from the strictest to the most open resource use areas, can be governed and managed entirely by indigenous peoples and local communities on their own, or of course with help from government or other players, NGOs and private sector. What is the global significance of community conserved areas? We feel that given existing information, maybe
indigenous and community conserved areas could double the protected area coverage of the world, which means right now if we have about 12 or 13% of the world under formal protected areas, according to UN figures, this could go up to more than 20% once we start identifying, recognizing and giving legal backing to community conserved areas. Even where recognition is given to such sites, it is often given by formal agencies in a very top-down, uniform manner. In India, for instance, community reserves are given recognition under the wildlife legislation. But the government says your area can become a community reserve, but to do so, you have to implement the rules that we will assign, and you have to set up a committee that we will decide. That is not a community conserved area. Community conserved area is where we actually say the law says if the community is actually showing that it can do conservation, it should be completely free to set up its own institutional structure, its own rules and so on, and govern its territory and its land according to that. So top-down recognition often actually undermines a community initiative, and we need to be very careful about that.
So really, we are one people.
Yeah.
We all want this land.
Yeah.
We support our children.
Yeah.
How will say jalo wa gaetso? Ha ke ba go go khobela gano. Kgotsa sengwe le sengwe se se supang ngwana utlwa. Let us come together and talk.
We do have here representatives from all the provinces. The CEOs are here. We do have community representatives from all the provinces. We are going to be able to get reflections from all of those categories of partners within the People and Parks program.
We met yesterday as communities, and then we decided to raise the issues that affect our constituencies or the people where we come from. So the issues that I'm going to raise is the issues per province. These issues that are written here are very pertinent issues. In Mpumalanga, what they've raised as their concern is that the land transfer are taking a long time to be implemented, particularly on the state-owned land.
The land question has been and always been a very, very controversial issue.
The Department of Land Claims is hampering economic development. Land claim processes very slow.
Unless government works together and have a joint position on these issues, there shall be no resolution.
The claimant of Westsend are willing to go into partnership with the conservation on a percentage basis, but cannot unfortunately wait forever for this to happen. Claimant now decided to occupy the land, and does not matter it is a protection area or not, and are willing to serve jail term if government cannot come with a solution.
We understand the urgency, because really what we are communicating is that we need to move with speed in dealing with the problems related to land restitution.
In order for government to work together with us, they should really try and solve this matter now. The Western Cape, they've raised as a concern that there is no track record of what is happening.
We need to forge together. We need to sit openly and talk about the challenges.
KwaZulu-Natal, they've raised as a concern that they need answers to the issue of 10,000 compensation. They also need the title deeds.
The issues in KwaZulu-Natal really are very much around land claims and the 10,000 rands that have not been paid, and a whole lot of things that were promised to the communities, and we brought that to the attention of the people that are capable of solving those problems.
Speaking of the co-management, we need the budget to communities with regard to the people and parks.
The issue of the budget, comrades, is a very, very important issue. We have discussed this in our min-max. As a result, we took a resolution that sizawisa kulando kutwa President's Coordinating Council. We are taking it up there, but also we are taking it up with the Treasury.
All new development within the parks, we need to involve, we need to have the first right of refusal.
We have noted this, and we maintain that it's a subject that we can still deal with within the context of core management program. We are thankful that the core management framework is complete and it has been launched in this People and Parks Congress. And I think that gives us a platform to move at a much faster pace after this.
I think all of us have tried to find a way of listening to you, which is very important. We have listened to you, we understand the frustration, we understand the urgency, because really what you are communicating is that we need to move with speed in dealing with the problems related to land restitution. This is the message that I am getting from you. I'm taking it upon myself. I will phone Comrade Gwindi. Fortunately, bayayazi sisuka kunye kula cala lethu lase Eastern Cape. So I'm going to talk to him personally and indicate to him the urgency in which this matter should be dealt with.
All of you have got success stories. So on the success stories of one park, the other parks must learn from those parks.
I need to single out one issue that is at the heart of our success as MTPA. Minister, it's the joint positioning and the cooperation and the collaboration that MTPA has with the Regional Land Claims Commission. For Ndala, Nkombo, SS Kosana and Manyeleti Game Reserve, we have now, with the support that we have from the Commission, those now are at a stage of activation of the core management committee. We've agreed on what we call the phase of normalizing relations between ourselves as the authority and the CPA leadership. We started this program at Songimvelo Nature Reserve, where 13,000 hectares of land was excised. And that became a major conflict issues between us and the CPA. But in the five-a-side on the part of the community, we've agreed to establish an office for the CPA. So the CPA has an office that is fully equipped with furniture and with all the necessary equipment, because if you want a partner to partner with you, they need access to these resources. We have now employed 14 of young people in that Songimvelo Nature Reserve area. We've presented each of the community with a budget for them to do the CPA work. They will put together a database of all the constituent companies that are there within their community, so that when there are non-core functions in the park, those can be outsourced, but they will be outsourced specifically to the CPA constituent companies. That for us, we felt it's very important, because they cannot be silent players when there's economic development and growth.
We are adjacent communities to the Edo National Park, but we are also beneficiaries, and we are benefiting because we've got a very good working relationship with Edo National Park. We have a community trust. We have also got money from the EU to establish a compost project, which is organic and which is the best in the country.
We're actually very happy to announce that we finally resolved 98% of vesting gaps in our province. This, we are very excited about it, because for the last while, we have been struggling to actually finalize the issue of vesting. Now we've vested 98% of our land.
The one major progress we've made at Manyeleti Game Reserve, we've signed an inter-party agreement that is worth 400 million rands. It will create 600 permanent jobs in the next coming 2 years. For every of those 7 lodges, as we sign these agreements, the community will have 17.5% ownership in the ownership structure and 17.5% in the management structure, because reality is that the money is not made in the bricks and mortar. It's the management company that runs those lodges.
So on the success stories of one park, the other parks must learn from those parks. Regarding the concerns and challenges facing us all, and especially communities, during my opening address on Monday, I alluded to 5 challenges that coincide with those tabled by the community representatives to this conference, and also outlined the way forward as I saw it, and proceeded to challenge conference in coming up with practical ways of tackling the following pertinent issues: the strengthening of the protected areas network, the challenge of rural development in context of protected areas, land reform and co-management, capacity building, awareness and education, financing mechanisms and partnership. I'm glad that the conference, through the parallel sessions that took place yesterday morning, has come up with practical recommendations in respect of advancing the People and Parks program for the next 2 years.
I think that there are 2 main issues that are critical for the success of the program. On the one end, you've got the institutional issues, the governance side of the People and Parks program. And on the other hand, you have the thematic areas. So I think for me, it was a resounding success in the sense that both areas of the program have been covered.
We learned a lot from it. I think everybody benefited because we met people who are advanced, and then we see our shortfalls. We know the areas of improvement. The challenges we identified is just the distinguish between settlement agreement and the title deed issue. If our minister can be able to push the title deed, everything is fine.
The biggest challenge we have is that the co-management framework cannot work if you do not have title deeds. If those grants that are supposed to be unlocked by the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform do not find their way into the communities.
So I will try my best, given the importance of this issue, that I engage the Minister of Rural Development and that we were able to unlock the bottlenecks that are there. We've got wonderful policies, wonderful thoughts and all that, but if we don't achieve that, we are like a person whose hands are tied at the back and you are looking at the food but you can't eat it.
As we heard throughout the conference, there are issues around capacity, human resource development. There are issues around insufficient budgets from some of the management authorities. We are in the process as a department of coordinating a more in-depth feasibility into these areas in ensuring that we expand our protected area estate, but concomitant with that, you need to address the issues around the resourcing of these protected areas as well as the human resource skills development issues.
The stakes are high. The development and even the future of many communities lie in our action. Now is the time to act. When you go back to your communities, they're going to ask you, what is it that you are bringing back?
As a representative, will send the relevant message back to the people. They shall not fear to release and liberate this type of activities within themselves.
You are all ambassadors of Peoples and Parks. Each and every one of you is here. You are an ambassador. And when you're an ambassador, you represent your constituency, you represent your country. Here you are going to represent where you come from, and we see the fruits of that when you've changed the lives of those people.
I believe this is a gate opener today from what we learned. A lot of opportunities will prevail within the community. If the promise is going to be fulfilled, the path is smooth. But if they are not met, people will fail to understand the purpose of this type of workshops.
During the next coming 2 years, we have every intention of taking the People and Parks program to new heights. And it's our responsibility when we live here. I also want to assure you that as government, we will not rest until we ensure equitable access and benefit sharing.
Together we can make the relationship beneficial, highly beneficial and mutually beneficial actually between people and their surrounding parks.
And I know with that energy, we're going to move forward. The next People's and Parks Conference is going to be greater. Wait till you hear. We'll come with a big bang to your province. Thank you.